There we go, everybody. And we are now live on YouTube. So today we're going to have a pretty awesome training. We're going to help you guys find renters that are looking to buy or convince renters that have been wasting their money to actually go out and purchase a home. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started with our slideshow. All right, guys. So again, this leads to ROI, turn renters into buyers. So with these unique tactics, you will be able to generate a steady stream of renters and convert them into buyers consistently. So there's a couple of key things that we need to make sure that we have in order to start going out and marketing to these particular renters. All right, so the pieces of the puzzle, and I'm going to be doing this training in 5 different parts. So today it's going to be about an hour long. It's going to be part 1. We're going to be focused on the data providers that you're going to want to use so that you can get marketing materials in front of renters that can potentially buy a home. And we've got a special guest that'll be coming on here very soon, which is Kelly Wheeler. And we're going to do a deep dive into some of the ways that we can help you guys consistently get in front of renters that have the capability to be able to purchase a home. So super exciting. All right, so formulating your list. This is one of the most important aspects when it comes to you guys actually targeting renters that are going to be potentially able to buy. So there's a couple of different softwares that you're going to want to look into. Number 1 is Remine, and you can get absentee homeowner data, which, big surprise, we can send direct mailers to those absentee to the actual home where we know the homeowner is absentee from, so that we can put that message in front of a renter, right? MyPlusLeads neighborhood data gives us the exact same information where it's absentee homeowner data. We can send a piece of mail to that house and target the renter specifically. And then Mailbox Power, which of course is the system that we use to send out all of our direct mail to buyers, sellers, FSBOs, expireds, canceleds, withdrawn. This is an extremely powerful tool that gives you all of the necessary resources that you're going to need so that you can target your specific audience of who you're going after. All right, so what is the list that you should go after? It's really going to depend on your data provider again. So to start with renter engagement, we recommend purchasing a list from Mailbox Power. There's a couple of reasons why we recommend this. Number 1, you can target renters specifically through Mailbox Power. Number 2, we can go over things like what is their credit score, what is their income, how long have they been renting that home, and we can pick out some unique identifiers to make sure that we're finding the exact audience that we are looking for so that we can get you guys in the know with them, right? Now, when we're taking a look at this, you can also use Remine and MyPlusLeads. There's a difference between how you're going to target these folks, though. So if we're using Remine and MyPlusLeads, we are going after, again, the absentee homeowner list, and we're targeting that particular property right out of the gate. And so Remine, MyPlusLeads, the same way. We're going after absentee homeowners. That's more of a buckshot approach than a precision targeted approach like what we can go after with Mailbox Power, but they both have their benefits. Right. So if we are going out and we're just targeting the masses with direct mail, we're going to have a lot more people that are going to click on our links. They're going to go to our website that we're then going to be able to track and retarget on Facebook or any method that we wish to do so with. So we can focus on volume, which is where the Remine and the MyPlusLeads comes into play. And this gives you the ability to consistently build your funnel so that you can work with leads no matter where they are in the process. You're going to find folks in this bucket that are going to need credit repair, and they're going to be 3 or 4 months out before they can actually purchase a home. You'll find some folks that maybe don't have the savings ready that they're going to need to be able to purchase a home. And so you guys will be able to build a pipeline that will consistently start to work out as time goes on. So that's where I find the most benefits from Remine and MyPlusLeads is getting out in front of the masses. Mailbox Power is going to be extremely detail targeted and oriented for exactly who you want to work with and the business that you want to capture today versus the pipeline that you still need to build for tomorrow. So it would be advantageous if you have the budget to do each of these and target respectively, so that number one, we can go and use the mailbox power list to generate business for today. We can use Remind and My Plus Leads to continue to fill those buckets so that we can get our business for tomorrow. Because again, when it comes to selling more houses, we have to consistently fill that pipeline. We have to consistently nurture and work that pipeline so that we can convert those leads into buyers or sellers. Now, what type of marketing can you guys do with each of these platforms? And these three slides are essentially the exact same. So I'm going to kind of go over them together. And then once we're done with this slide, we're actually going to jump into Mailbox Power, and we're going to show you guys how to build the list. We're then going to jump into Remind, do the exact same thing, and My Plus Leads, so you guys get some insights on that.
And guys, Kelly is also here. I just want to let you know, Bryan, in case you didn't see him.
Awesome, thank you. So you guys, with these, the number one piece that we're doing right out of the gate is sending a direct mail to these potential home buyers, these renters. We want to put something directly in front of them that's going to be tangible, that's going to give them a little bit of insight on who you are, and it's also going to have a compelling offer and some info so that they can go to one of your sites so that we can then track them. Once these folks go ahead and either use a QR code or just visit your website, we can then track them with Facebook's Pixel and start marketing to them on Facebook and Instagram, so that we're doing a multifaceted campaign and getting back in front of those folks. Now, when it boils down to building out your list in Mailbox Power, we've set up some specific criteria that you should follow that has been proven to work extremely, extremely well. So Kelly, if you could go ahead and unmute for us really quick. I'd like to ask if you could share your screen, and let's jump into Mailbox Power so that we can give them a quick walkthrough on that platform and how they would go about finding the exact list of renters that they wish to target.
Guys, this is awesome. I hope you're ready for it.
Now, Bryan, do you want me to do this, or do you want to do it?
Actually, you are the expert with this. I'm going to let you go ahead and knock this out of the park.
All right. So real quick disclaimer, Bryan and I were talking about this earlier, and I'm not doing a training on this today, but there are two types of buyer leads. You can go out. Most agents, when I talk about this, they're like, what? Buyer lead's a buyer lead. I think in today's economy, the best buyer lead in the world is a listing buying a home once you sell their home. So now you've got a homeowner that you're listing, and you also have a buyer. And that, to me, is the primo buyer lead, because when you're targeting and marketing for sellers, about half of the time to 70% of the time, you're getting buyers. So that's phase one. Then we have phase two, which is strictly a buyer. This is a renter who is renting, and they meet the criteria that we as agents are looking for to spend our dollars on to see if we can get them to a pre-approval and out looking at property. So in today, or in this example, we're going to target ourselves for the second type of lead, the actual renter / buyer. So when I log into my Mailbox Power, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to contacts. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I am not going to contacts. I'm going to mailing list.
Mailing
How about
list.
that, Bryan? Mailing list. I've got like 3 pieces of marketing that I'm actually doing right now while I'm doing this. So my brain is on over marketing load right now. I'm going to order a custom mailing list. Now, here's where you can get real specific. You can either do it by zip code, you can do it by city, you can do it by county, or if you really want to go crazy, by state. For those of you with large teams and you've got agents all over the state, you can do it by state. I'm going to do it as if I were an independent agent looking to find me people to work with, families to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and target individuals. For geography, I'm going to go ahead and do a county. So we're going to call this Lake. You know what? No, I do Lake all the time. Orange County, Florida. There it is right there. So where Orlando, Florida is located, we're going to target that. Guys, if you'll notice, there's 598,000 people that I can go ahead and market to right now. I don't want to. That's way too much money, and there's no agent in the world that needs to market to 500,000 people. What I want to do is take this list down to renters only that meet my criteria. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and watch what happens to the number. I'm getting rid of everybody but renters. I'm going to go ahead and leave the multifamily and single family and unloan unchecked, because you're going to have people that are renting homes in actual subdivisions. You're going to have people that are renting in apartment communities, condos, townhomes. So we want to cover everybody. So right now it's dropped to 135,000. That's good. So then I'm going to go ahead and I really want to target this list. Let me look for everybody that's been renting for 3+ years. There should be enough pain with them that 3+ years should be long enough for them to start really thinking about or have been considering buying their own place. Now for income, I'm going to go ahead and say everybody that makes over 100K or more per year. Now I knew when I did this list, it was going to be a little bit larger because it's Orlando area, but I just want to show you the power of it. Guys, you notice I went from 500,000 to 2,845 people in Orange County, Florida, that are renters. These are renters that make 100 grand or more a year. First question I ask is, if you make 100 grand a year and you've been renting for 3 years, we got to get you an offer to compel you to move. The next thing I'm going to do is come right down here to other. When I get there, I'm going to drop automatically down to the credit rating. And let me start. I'm going to say I want everybody on that list that also has a 700 or higher credit score. Now, why do you guys think I'm targeting this list of 100 grand or more and 700 credit score? Why do you guys think I'm targeting it that way?
I'm gonna leave the floor open. Anybody that wants to unmute their mic can go ahead and give a shout out.
Tell me why you think I'm targeting.
Or send a message to the chat.
Either one. Wow, that's some good coffee today. Anybody want to guess why I'm going
for closers? So
that's right. All right, if nobody wants to jump into this thing, here's why I'm doing it. The more targeted my list can be, the better the criteria, the better the client. If somebody's been renting for 3+ years, they make over 100 grand a year, and their credit score is over 700, they are the prime. There's no reason for them to continue renting, not 1,300 of them, right? So all I need to do is I need to target these 1,300 people and start reaching out to them as the professional and develop that relationship and see if I have any offers that would compel them to get up off of their feet and look for their own place, their own home. So while I typically tell agents not to buy this many leads, I'm just going to show you if I want. I mean, you could buy 200. Like if I wanted 200 of these leads, it's only $19, and then it's going to cost me roughly $90 a month to market to 200 people that fit my criteria. But if I'm really super aggressive, it costs me $100, $113 to have every one of those leads sitting into my dashboard. And then if I want, it's going to cost me $500-$600 a month to market to every one of these buyers to see who will raise their hand. So Bryan, in terms of targeting buyers with mailbox power, that's how you do it. This is a larger list than what I like to do, but that in essence is how you target non-homeowners, renters, and not only renters that fit the most ardent, strict criteria for somebody that can get a mortgage and afford a home. So if they're making over 100 grand a year and they have a 700 credit score, I can get them in a home all the way up to 900,000 or higher, depending on that criteria. So anyway, Bryan, any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Go ahead, William.
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, I mean, so just buying the list outright for $113 for 1,334 people, right?
Yep.
That's a pretty small investment for a great audience that size. And what did you say about $500 a month?
There's another way to think about this. Okay. And let me bring over, and I'm sorry, guys, my internet is really running slow today. So I had a hard time logging on. Let's take that list. We said it's 1,300. Let's divide that list into two. So that means every other month I could market to this. So if I wanted to buy the whole list and every month I wanted to send a card to the first list, the next month to the second list. So here's what it's going to cost me per month. $300, $350. And now every month, if I want to do $350 every month, every second month, all 1,334 of these renters are going to receive my message with regard to whatever offer I have for them to start a conversation with me about buying. And what I love about these renters, guys, there's another reason. I don't know if anybody caught on this. There's another reason why I set my income up higher and my credit score up higher. And it's simply this. In our local market, and your market's going to be different than mine. Everybody's geographically different in their markets. You know, somebody that makes $100,000 a year in Central Florida and they make $100,000 a year in Los Angeles, that person's going to be considered on the low end of the economic spectrum, right? Because up there, rents start at $10,000 and go all the way up. But the reason why I picked the price point, the income and the credit is I know right now in Central Florida, it's a dog eat dog between $300,000 and $550,000. I mean, that's where all of the 80% of all the buyers in Central Florida are hunting between $300,000 and $500,000 to $600,000. This particular buyer that I'm going after, they're going to be looking potentially at homes between $500,000 and $900K. Now, anything above $600,000 or $700K, the competition goes way down because you don't have as many buyers in that pool. So guys, I'm thinking strategically. I'm thinking, how can I attract the highest tiered buyer and then market to that buyer in a price point that I'm not, there's still competition, but it's not a feeding frenzy. Bryan, does that make sense?
100%. And so essentially what you're doing, Kelly, is you're making sure that with this detailed targeted approach, you're not only putting yourself in front of a potential buyer, but you're putting yourself into a buyer that you're going to be able to close on within the next couple of months instead of the next 6 months, because you're going to have to deal with bidding wars time and time again in that average price point range where everybody's fighting for the home. I get where you're coming from. I think it's brilliant.
So here's what I'm looking at too, Bryan. Let's say this particular buyer is going to average 700 to 750K in price point. At 2.5% interest for the buyer side, which is on average 2 to 2.5% right now in this market, 750K, pardon me, 750K times 2.5%. That's my commission, right? Now, Bryan, if I've got 1,300, now just take the 18,000, let's just call it 18,000 for simpletons, right? If I've got 1,344 buyers at this level, what if I just closed 2 of these buyers, right? Or 1%, I'm sorry, 1% of the 1,344. So if I close 1%, do you see how many buyers I could close this year off of that list? What if I closed half of those?
The average for direct mailers is about 2%. As far as when you send out your mailers, 2% of those mailers turn into real leads for you guys. So ultimately, if you were to mail out this list of 1,344 people, you'd actually be looking at roughly 27 leads that would be hitting your database. And these are people that are either going to your website or they're giving you a call directly because they got that postcard. So it's extremely powerful getting in front of those folks. Of course, our conversion rates are a little bit better on the internet versus sending out direct mail, but this is the best way to get in front of that renter audience with the lowest cost and get yourself set up to go ahead and win some deals that are above your average price point in your market. This is absolutely huge.
Bryan, one more thing, and then we'll stop with this one. I did 1%. Now, I know that I am capable of doing more than 1%, but let's just say 1% is 13 deals. Now, if you send out a card like this and the back of it has nothing, this is what I got from an agent. I show this all the time. You're not going to get 0.2%, right? You're going to be lucky to get anything. But based on the $18,000 commission on that average price point, if I just took 0.5%, so let's just say I did 6 deals out of 1,344 leads times 18,000. $108,000, right? And it cost me $600 or $350 a month. So let's say for giggles, $4,500 in direct mail for 12 months just to that list. $4,500 in exchange for $108. I will do that every day and 3 times on Sunday because the numbers work for me. So what you guys need to think about is what's my offer? What's the vehicle I deliver my offer? And how consistent will I be with this? And then once you have those three components, then you put a game plan in place and you stick to it. Even if you don't have a deal for 3 months, you stick to it, because here's what I know. It's a numbers game. And if all those other three components are working, you're going to get some deals. And if all you did was close 6 deals on 1,300 leads, you're in the money. You are in the money, honey. Anyway.
Hey guys, I also want to mention here, after you buy this list of 1,300 people, you also have the ability to import those leads into Leads to ROI inside of our software. And there's no reason why you couldn't create a voicemail drop. So you could create a workflow with one simple step, that is to send a voicemail to that lead. So now you're not only sending them direct mail, but you're also sending them a voicemail drop. And with your Google My Business integration, you have the Google Missed Call text back features that we have in the system. So if somebody calls you, you could create any type of landing page inside of our system. Since we have our funnel builder, there are 15 funnels that we already have pre-created in the system for you. So you could take any one of those and edit them to be personalized to your campaign. You could have a QR code that drives them to that landing page from your mailer. Okay. And so anybody that will then input the lead into our system, where you can automate all of your follow-up and increase those that 2% conversion rate to be 3 to 4.
That's how you do it.
There's a lot of killer strategies that you guys can implement to go out and knock these lists out of the park. Now, for time purposes, Kelly, I feel that we need to move on to our very next platform where we can pull data from. Now, again, you guys, we've talked about the detailed targeted approach, which is just that with Mailbox Power, where we're going after somebody that's been renting for a certain period of time, making a certain income, their credits in check and in line with where we want it to be. You know, we've honed in on all of these data points to make sure we're going after the right folks. Now we're going to talk about the shotgun approach, the way to continuously fill your pipeline with deals that you may have to do a little bit more work on, or move over to your credit repair guy, or continue to push. But it's definitely a good thing to fill your buckets with each one of these different types of leads. So Kelly, if you could actually share the My Plus Leads neighborhood data. This one's going to be a little bit quicker, you guys, because it's just a simple way to set it up and go ahead and pull that data. But Kelly, go ahead and take it away.
All right. So what we're going to look for here, guys, actually, Bryan, the reason why I like this one is it goes back to the first layer of buyer leads, and that's where you've got access to sellers and buyers. So, you know, I like to double my work output by doing the same thing. So if I can do one thing and get one result, and I can do that same thing and get 2 results, I like that the 2 results better. And so with My Plus Leads, guys, and if you'll notice, and I'm not doing a full breakdown of My Plus, but every day I get new leads coming in for foreclosures, expireds, and FSBOs, right? There they are right there. Those leads are coming in, and I can look at those, but I can go down to neighborhood data and do a quick search. And what I'm going to do is, and let's just take, Bryan, let's just take this area right here. Let me go here. I like how they let you get hyper targeted. And Bryan, I thought about something, and remind me of this after I'm done with this explanation, because I think there's another way we can get just renters that are renting, not sellers. So there's another way to do that, but I'll talk to you about that in a minute. So inside of the neighborhood search, I'm going to look for premium neighborhood, and I'm also going to look for non-owner occupied. Okay. So I'll do multifamily, I'll do mobile homes, I will do all of that. And I am going to go ahead and look at my criteria. The minimum that I want to work with, let's just say in this area, is 300K. Okay. I want to go ahead and look at, right now there's 9,781, but I'm going to go down here and hit a brand new tool they just gave us inside of neighborhood search, probability of sell. Now watch what happens to the number. The number was 9,800, or now it's 7,800. If I go here to the highest, it's going to bring that number way down. So 4,000 people in this list have a high probability to sell. So let me go back over here and go, I'm going to change this. I'm going to say 400K to 800K. There we go. It's going to change that number. There we go. Now I'm going to generate the list. Now, why is this important? I asked the list to give me absentee homeowner. So what's going to happen is I'm going to receive a list from them. And I don't know why this one snuck in, but I'm going to receive a list. And if you'll notice, look right here, most of them, it worked. This one is the address of the home. This is the address of the owner, right? So Brian, did you notice when I did it? Yeah, I'm liking what I see. So there's going to be a couple that squeak through, and I don't know why that happened, but the majority of these are going to give me the address of the home and the homeowner's address. Why is that important? I can reach out to the homeowner. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say that's extremely important because now you, instead of just targeting the renter specifically, you're also now targeting the homeowner themselves. And I mean, in the event that you do get the homeowner to sell the home, there's no guarantee that the renter is going to be able to stay in the property, right? So
let me show one more thing.
Lists, giving yourself the opportunity to win buyers and sellers.
Let me show one more thing, guys. And this is something you could be doing right now inside. I don't know, those of you that are on the call with me right now, this is a strategy I would use even for my own subdivision, right? So I'm going to scroll down. I have a lakefront home right here. This is my neighborhood right here. So one of the things I can do is I can come over here and I can draw, bear with me guys, right here. Okay, so 1,800 properties inside of my neighborhood, right? And now I want to go ahead and I want to do non-owner. Let's see how many. Now perfect. Brian, did you see that? 562. Awesome. Now I don't want condos. I'm going to just do single family homes and it should be the same. And then over here, I'm going to do likely to list. Ooh, don't want that. I'm going to make sure I'm in premium neighborhood. Home value, I'm going to say 300K minimum. 300K. And for max, I'll say 550. There we go. Now, I've still got a list of 562. I can go ahead now if I wanted to break down length of ownership. Now, for ownership, I don't care because these are non-occupied. These are owners that don't live there. I don't care if they bought it a year ago or 10 years ago. This is a crappy market. And we're seeing the upticks right now in our area on pre-foreclosures. So it's a really cool time. Now, when I do this, guys, this number's, I don't know what this is going to do to the number, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go real low. So let's just check it. I'm not really concerned with absentee home. Oh my God, that's exactly what I wanted. 218. So I'm going to generate the list. Now, here's what you guys can do. Let me bring the calculator back up. Okay, so why is this so important? I have 218 addresses in my neighborhood or in the corresponding neighborhoods because we got 3 neighborhoods right next to one another. They're literally like we can drive through each other's neighborhood. So what was that number again, Brian? It was 200 and just say 225. How much?
It was 218.
Okay, so 218. Guys, look at this. So for $115, I can send a postcard to the residents living there. Now, I don't know at this point until the card comes back to me as undelivered. I don't know if there's actually 218 renters. My guess opinion is at least 70% of those homes are being rented because the absentee homeowner is looking at that income to help him pay his mortgage, right? The majority of these homes are going to have a renter in them. So for $115 a month, I can reach out to these renters and say, hey, have you thought about firing your landlord, right? Or have you thought about buying a home? Now, for that exact same amount, I can also send a card to the absentee homeowner and I can say, hey, have you guys thought about selling your property that you no longer live in? We can help you out. We'd love to give you a profit analysis in this market. Homes are selling higher than ever. If you'd like to know how much money you would make by selling your home, let's get together, right? I can send a card to him and a card to them. Now, if I get one of these guys that say he wants to list with me, I'm talking to that renter. I'm like literally talking to that renter. hey, look, man, this house is going to sell. Would you guys like to see what can happen in this market? Guys, the possibilities are absolutely limitless with this kind of marketing. And there we are, 218 people in my backyard that are absentee homeowners and renters. I've got the best of both worlds, Bryan.
Absolutely. No, that's great. I love taking these lists and I love being able to use them and pivot, one for buyers or one for sellers. That's one of my favorite things about pulling these lists for the renters, is that it doesn't just give you the audience that you need to get in front of to win more buyers. It also gives you the audience that you need to get in front of to win more sellers. And in this market, we all know that everybody wants more listings, but buyers are still an integral role in the game, and we need to make sure that we have a constant flow of those buyers that are in here. Now,
Bryan, do you notice on this list what we're getting to?
We're also getting DNC numbers.
Yeah, but we can upload this into what? Facebook?
Yep, we can upload that directly into Facebook. So here's one of the cool things with this list, you guys. And Kelly, you actually downloaded one earlier that we can take a look at. Can you open up?
I'll do it right here. Let me do it right here. We'll get it in 2 seconds. Select all. Now, before I do this, they give me the ability, if I want, to augment these. If I wanted to augment these leads, I could. But let's go ahead and export. We'll export
you guys,
all fields.
what augmenting the lead data means is that it's going to run through a system that's going to cross-reference names, numbers, and emails. And if it comes back with different names or different numbers or different emails than what we currently have, it's going to generate that information for us. So it'll give us maybe 2 or 3 different phone numbers to attempt, 2 or 3 different emails to attempt. It gives us more options as far as that data goes. And Kelly, actually, can you do it for the whole spreadsheet? Because there's a whole bunch of columns to the right that we're going to be missing as well. Here we go. Awesome.
All right.
So you guys, I want you to take a look at the data points that you actually capture from this list, right? So of course we have the listing ID is the ID that's put in by the data provider. But if we look over, we've got the street address, the city, the state, the zip. We've got the name of the contact. We have the homeowner's phone number that is listed there. There is a second phone number listed for the homeowner as well, and whether they are also on the DNC or not. So we know who we should call and who we shouldn't call. We go over and we've got owner in one column that shows first name, last name, and then we have, of course, the owner's address. So we have the address of the property, then we have the owner's address because these are absentee homeowners. The owners do not live in the property. So we have the address for where they are. New York, that would be a great person to contact right now and get them selling their house. Looks like you got a couple that are out of state as well, Illinois, Arizona. Then we've also got square footage on the home, when it was built, the last time that it was sold, the sold amount, right? Estimated home value, the net worth of that homeowner. You also get the credit rating estimated for that homeowner and their estimated income. You see the loan to value that they have on the home. So, I mean, I'm seeing a couple of people on this list, 37 LTV. So that's somebody that has a massive amount of equity in their property, and they're going to walk away with a lot of cash if they sell this thing. And then, of course, the estimated value there at the end. So you guys,
what's good about this too, Bryan, is you've got this guy that bought it in 2019. So I probably wouldn't spend $1 marketing to somebody with only 95% LTV. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate him off this list. So I'm going to take a couple minutes to go through this and get rid of anybody where the loan to value is higher than, say, 90%. Just because it's my dollars and I've got enough leads to work with, I'm going to get hyper targeted on these leads.
Absolutely. So you guys, this is the kind of data that you can get directly through that My Plus Leads neighborhood data. Now we're going to show you guys a platform that you may get for free with your MLS. I recommend every single agent to check with their local board and see if you guys have ties with a platform called Remind. Now, Kelly, you actually get this no additional cost just by being a member of your board or a member of your MLS. And so you get Remind Pro from that. There's several MLSs, a lot of MLSs, excuse me, you guys, throughout the US that provide this platform for free. And I can tell you right now, we have done 4 years worth of testing using Remind's data when it comes to homeowner data. And what we have done with this is we go into a city or we go into a marketplace, you can pull a list of 10,000 homeowners at a time, and you can utilize that list to create a Facebook audience and go and start targeting those homeowners specifically. So you guys, we are going to be doing another training series once we complete this rent to buy or renters to buyers. That's going to be all about FSBOs, cancels, expireds, and winning listings. And part of that is going to be going into Remind and showing you guys how to find the specific homeowners that you want to target so you can win more listings. But this platform is absolutely phenomenal, and there's a ton of additional data points that you can go off of to find your ideal clientele. So for renters, we're taking the shotgun approach with this platform the same way that we did with My Plus Leads, because we can target the absentee homeowners through Remind, but it doesn't give us any of the renter data. So we're going to be sending direct mailers out to those absentee homes where we know there's going to be a renter in place so that we can go ahead and start going after the masses on these. Now, Kelly's going to go ahead and break this down. The very first thing that he did, you can see on the left side of his screen, there is a little key that has absentee. And so Kelly clicked on that key, and then he clicked on absentee in state and out of state so that he can grab both of those. Now he's going ahead and he's selecting the equity of the property so that he can focus on properties that are going to be most likely to be able to sell their home and put some coin in their pocket. He then added in only properties that are off market. And now he's doing a minimum value so that he, again, can target the exact home that he wants to go after and find a renter that's going to be able to afford a property that he's going to then in turn want to sell. What would you say someone's paying in rent right now in your market, specifically on a home that's worth $400,000?
Way too much. They're paying $3,500 a month.
So, and how much home could they afford with that $3,500 a month?
$500,000 home.
Okay, so essentially what you're targeting right now is people that are in a $450,000 rental, but you're going to be able to show them how you can get them into a $500,000 home for the same money that they're paying in rent.
Here's one of the offers that I would make, guys. Again, this is where you got to get your marketing game on. When you send a card out to this layer or this level of lead, you can't be sending just this, would you like to see what's available on the MLS, or would you like to get pre-qualified before? You don't need that. That's every other agent, right? Here's something that you could do to compel them to respond back. And this goes back to what William said. I would have a QR code directing them to a page where they can go ahead and leave their information for me, get it into my CRM. But I would make the offer of, hey, we noticed that you are renting here in the Central Florida area. If you will go ahead and send me what you're currently paying in rent, I will send you 3 homes currently for sale near you at or lower than what you're paying for rent, and potentially a much larger home, in some cases with a swimming pool. Send me the information and I'll send you what you could be having right now, what you could own for less than what you're paying in rent. I would do that all day. If I'm in my house and I'm renting and I'm thinking, oh my God, and the best time to send this card is 2 days before the end of the month, because now they're thinking about writing that rent check, right? So if they get a card that says that, you are going to see a higher conversion. Guys, this is where we separate ourselves from other average agents. You got to think like this, because this is the motivation. What is the psychology involved as to why they're writing a check for $3,500 each month? Well, let's go ahead and show them something they can get for less money and bigger home, and you will see the conversation starting to happen. But this, again, needs to be done consistently, not just a one-off. If your guys are thinking this is a one-off and you're going to get rich, you're in the wrong business.
Absolutely. Now, with this particular list, that's all the criteria that you guys need to focus on. You've got to find your price point of what you want your renters to be in, and approximately what they'd be paying rent for the home that you're going to want to be able to sell them. That's going to be a mortgageable home, right? You want to make sure that you're targeting folks that are absentee, and then we're doing just that shotgun approach where we're sending a mail directly out to those folks. Now, we've got the data providers down, you guys, and there's several others out there that you could use. There's PropStream, there's Property Radar. These are just the ones that we have found work best for us, and we've tested on these 3 with Kelly, myself, and other clients that we've worked with over the past 4 years of Leads to ROI. And frankly, over the last 4 years when I was at Zillow before this is all the same kind of stuff that we preach to our agents, right? So now that we've covered where you guys are going to find the data to go ahead and market to, I kind of want to start to dive into what kind of postcard you need to have and what you need to have on that postcard. So everybody, and Kelly, if you've got anything to add to this, please chime in. But number one, you've got to make sure that you have a compelling offer on this postcard. You've got to catch their attention right out of the gate once they pull it out of the mailbox. And you want it to be something that feels nice. You don't want it to be chintzy and flimsy. You want to make sure that you're getting something in front of them that they're going to feel or grab onto and be compelled to look at that, right? So you have to make sure that you have a compelling offer right out of the gate. I recommend having your contact info, which is basically an absolute must. You've got to get a way for them to call you, text you, email you, get you on the phone, however you can chat with them. You want to add your website URL to that card, and then potentially a QR code as well, so that for those tech savvy people that want to just pull their camera out on their phone and point their phone at it, it's going to pull the website up and they'll be able to go ahead and take a look. So Kelly, do you mind sharing with us some of the cards that, quite frankly, we can just hand out to everyone with a link? Anyone that wants these cards, we can hand them out. Can you share some of your renter cards that we have in place for buyers?
I'm going to show you two different places. For those of you that have Mailbox Power, there's some places you can go to right now to go ahead and get the cards. Remember, if you get a card from Mailbox Power, they're editable, right? And so what I just did for you guys, if you'll look on the chat, is I gave you, I think I have 4 or 5 of my buyer cards that you can recycle. You can change them. You can edit them. You can do whatever you want with them. They're yours as a free gift. They are on the chat. So make sure you grab that link. And that is a link to some free cards for you guys. Now, if you go into the home screen and go down to where it says real estate, there are tons of cards, guys. Some of these are free and some you can purchase for as little as $1. Once you purchase it, you own it. You can edit it and change it at will and use it as many times as you want and don't have to pay anything else. I like to go in here and put in the word buyer, and let's see what pops up. There we go. So here is what popped up for buyer. There's a buyer card right there. And guys, this one's free. So if you go into your Mailbox Power, this is a free card. Just add it to your saved projects, call it buyer card 1 or whatever. This card actually is one of the cards I just gave you that I edited, and it's in your free cards that I just gave you, but that's a free card. Here's another one.
Go ahead and click on that for us, Kelly. Let's take a look at that.
Well, let me go here. And remember when I said it's editable? So here's the front of the card. All you do is you click over the word renting and you can change that. Renter to buyer, whatever. All of these lines are editable. I don't know if you can see this or not, Brian. It's hard to see it, but you see where it says what's in it for you, and then it has the pipe, first name, pipe. The reason why our cards are so good is we have the ability, once you purchase your list, as long as it has a first name and a last name. I always go with first name. I don't do last name, and I do not do spouse name, just the first name. So it would say, what's in it for you, Alec? What's in it for you, Shirlette? What's in it for you, Sarah Brew? What's in it for you, William? Their name goes on the card. It's very personable, but all of this is editable. Potentially own a home for less than what you're paying in rent. 0 down options, and all of that's editable, right? So let's look at the back of the card. Here, this is the 5x7, by the way. So you've got front, inside, bottom, and then back. Here's what it says. What my home, and all of this is editable, guys. If you have a different offer, put it in here. Love it or list it for free. Access to my secret list of unlisted homes. That's a whole nother training I'm not going to do today, but that is a killer one. Moving boxes. I always provide moving boxes. It costs me like $100. I provide that to my buyers. I give them an allowance at closing for their first day of moving van expenses. Again, another $100. I take care of their home inspections, especially if I'm going to make $7,000 to $12,000 commission. I will pay for the $250. Now, I don't pay them up front. They get a credit at closing. But again, it's all part of my offers. So that's the inside. And then the back of the card, simply put your logo. I'm with EXP. If you're with Keller Williams or Caldwell, whatever, just drop your logo. You can even add more text up here if you want. Your picture will automatically go here if you put your picture on your profile, and then it'll automatically put your first name, last name, and whatever is in your profile, it will put it there. And that's what that card looks like, right? So we've got one more here. This is another one right here. Turn renters into buyers. Check this one out, guys. This one cost me like $1.99, and it's a 4x6 postcard, so it's the least expensive. But check this out. William, Bryan, interest rates have dropped dramatically. Now, this you'll have to edit because they're actually going up. I don't know. Has anybody gassed their car in the last 2 days? I just spent $50 gassing my SUV, and it's a small SUV. It normally costs me like $30, man. So you might want to change some of this. But check this out, William. You can most likely afford to buy a home. Interest rates are lower, and you know what? They are compared to 10 years ago.
I mean, here's the way I look at this. Right now, interest rates are lower than ever. We do have the greatest interest rates of all time right now.
They are actually still pretty low. They are going up, but they're still low.
They are poised to increase, but the Fed hasn't voted to increase the rate just yet. They just passed on it the last meeting. So interest rates aren't going up yet. You guys can keep using this for right now. You don't have to edit anything on it. What I would say is that when the time comes that the Fed starts to increase the rates, then we'll want to look at editing this card. But for right now, I say that it works. I say ship it.
So on the back of the card, all of this is editable. So Bryan, William, Alec, the recent changes in our economy offer an incredible opportunity right now to purchase a home. Call or email and learn more. Return phone, return it. I would dump this picture, and right in this spot, I would say, FYI, text me at your current rent, and I will send you 3 homes that you can purchase right now less than what you're paying in rent, right? If I get a text that says 123 Smith Avenue, I know exactly what that is, especially if I just sent the cards. I'm going, Bryan, am I going to text them back? What am I going to do if I get a text that is texting me as a response to that card? What do you think I'm going to do?
You're going to text them back and you're going to call them.
I'm going to call them. Hey, guys, this is Kelly, the real estate ninja. I just got your text. Thank you. I actually get dozens of these every 2 or 3 days because, you know, a lot of people are renting and they're thinking about buying. Couple questions I got. Is this the address that you're currently living? Oh, great. So if you could, let me have your first name and last name and your email address, and I am going to send that to you guys today. Tell me a little bit, you know, I'm going to talk to them. If they take the time to do that, I'm talking, guys, imagine getting 5 of these a month responding back to your phone with their address. Holy smokes. That's how you do this interactively. So I would edit some of this card out, but anyway, there is a killer card that you can use directly in the dashboard. I see if we see any more. There's a bunch. I just, this is the one they just put this one in, Bryan. I love this one. Check this out. Look at this. Hey, Bryan. And I get rid of Ann's spouse name. Hey, Bryan, stop paying rent. I probably edit this stuff out and do something different and bring all this up. Hey, Bryan, are you tired of renting? With current economic conditions, now is a great time to go buy a home. I'm happy to blah, 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 blah. I'm going to edit that and probably put another offer in there. Hey, would you like to hear about 0 down options and how we help with closing costs, our portion of closing costs? Call or text Kelly at this number and let's have a conversation, right? I'm going to put that on the card. But look how simple that is. A lot of agents are like, oh, I don't know if I can create a card. It's done. There's cards in there.
Say that right now, FOMO is a great way to get in front of these potential folks as well. I've seen a lot of awesome infographics lately that showcase what a home that's $350,000 today is going to cost in mortgage versus with today's rates versus a $300,000 home if we have a crash and the increased rate. And you guys, right now with this low rate, even with a $50,000 more home, you're getting a lower monthly payment. So those are all things that I would probably leverage as unique selling propositions to get these folks to reach out. Let them know that, hey, the Fed is planning on increasing the interest rate here in the near future. This is the time that you need to capitalize on purchasing a home if it's been in your sights. If it's something you've wanted to do, this is the time to do it because X, Y, and Z. We know the Feds are going to jack the rates up. They've spoken about it several times. They said in the next meeting they plan on doing 3 rate hikes over this year. Whether they do it or not, they've been saying it for the last administration. They said they were going to hike the rates. They didn't. We don't know if they're going to or not, but they're saying that they're going to, which terrifies people and gets them moving and shaking. So I would use that FOMO, or that fear of missing out, as an opportunity to get these folks going. Now, direct mail is one piece to the puzzle when it comes to converting these renters over. Now, you're going to get a good amount of traffic from these postcards, especially if you have things like a QR code in place on your postcards. They can go to a website or just a URL so that they can go to that link. So the next piece of this puzzle, and this is the piece that we're going to end with today for you guys, is actually going to be having a pixel on a landing page or a website that you send these folks to. Now, for today, I made a super simple landing page. Kelly actually had these videos that he had left over that are a first-time home buyer seminar. And so I created this in, I don't know what, Kelly, 5 minutes, super fast, but this is just to show you guys what you can do. So we need to make sure that you have is on any kind of a landing page or funnel that you have. Whether you guys are using Leads to ROI, you're using ClickFunnels, you've got your website on KV Core, we've got to make sure that your pixel is on your website and attached. So where you're going to find that through Facebook is going to be in your events manager. So facebookadsmanager.com. And then from the ads manager, you will then go ahead and click on the events tool from the hamburger menu in the top left corner, and you can collect your pixel data from there. With ClickFunnels or with Leads to ROI, there's going to be a settings thing at the top, and there's going to be a tracking code. Paste in your tracking code into this box, click save, whether it's here or ClickFunnels. If it's in KV Core, you're going to go to Web and IDX. You're going to go ahead and click Site Settings. And then once you're in Site Settings, it's about a quarter of the way down the page, and it just says Header. In the header, that's where you want to go ahead and paste in your QR code, right? So I just want to give you guys a little taste of this. Your logo would be here. The name of your real estate brokerage will be here. And you can go ahead and write out the message however you want. This is a video series that Kelly had for a first-time home buyer program. So you guys could go ahead and actually take the time, if you want to be the most effective with this, it would be to go ahead and take a look at these videos or similar home buying videos that are out there for seminars, and creating your own home buyer seminar. You getting in front of the camera and you delivering the message is one of the best ways that you can build rapport with your new upcoming audience of potential renters that are potential buyers that are currently renting, and helping them bring down the sword and the shield so that you can just start a conversation with them. Now, we do have just below this an about section. So you'd want to add your description here, and then learn about us from our happy clients. This is a testimonial from your Google My Business that would populate here. Now, you guys, if you're not using Google My Business, I highly recommend getting one set up. And then we have a tool inside of Leads to ROI. One of our agents, is Nadia on here? I thought I saw her enter the room earlier. One of our agents, Nadia, 4 months ago sent out, was it like 50 review requests, William? And she got 37 reviews on her Google My Business pretty much within the next week after she sent that out. The amount of reviews that she got is huge. When somebody searches for you for real estate in your local market, and you have a good number of reviews on your Google My Business, you're going to populate towards the top of that list. So you guys give yourselves a leg up on the competition. Start requesting reviews from past clients, whether it's through our platform or just sending it out yourself. Get the reviews on your profile so you can get more people in front of you. So essentially from here, when somebody lands on this page, now that we have the pixel added to it, you're then going to be able to track them as they're going through your videos and looking at your page. And then you can run an ad to retarget them on Facebook. And that's where we are going to pick up next week, or excuse me, not next week, Thursday, here in 2 days. We're going to pick up on this training where we left off right here, and take you guys through the journey of building your Facebook ads so that you can retarget and re-engage this list of potential buyers that you have streaming in through your doors, streaming onto your websites, giving you calls and texting you, that you have sent direct mailers out to. Now, at this point in time, I'd like to open up the floor and let anybody take some time and ask some questions about this particular strategy of sending out direct mailers, finding your ideal audience of who you're looking for, and then sending out direct mailers to those renters so that you can win buyers. So anybody that's got a question, you can use the raise hand function, and we'll go ahead and just call on you one by one.
Hey, Bryan.
Hey, how's it going? It's Angela,
Hey,
right?
yes. Listen, you talked about an example of an infographics where we can show people what a house looks like when we buy down. Do you have an example of that, or can you direct us in the right direction to find that, or create it ourselves, I guess?
I believe where I saw that particular infographic was with Keeping Current Matters. And it was just a chart itself. So it actually broke down on one side of the chart. It was what your cost is, what your cost would be for a $350,000 home with what today's interest rate is. And then it had the cost of what a $300,000 home would be, like in the event of a crash, right? What a $300,000 home would be with a 0.25% higher interest rate. And it just shows how much more money you're actually spending with the higher interest than with today's. I believe it was Keeping Current Matters, but I'm sure that if you Googled rent versus, or if you Googled low interest rate versus high interest rate, you could probably find it.
Bryan, let me show them something too. Inside of Mailbox Power, you have access to an infographic type card, and you can literally get the data from your MLS. So take a look at this. And there's 4 or 5 versions of this card, but here is a card that you can send to a neighborhood. And this is one that you could easily edit. Here's what it looks like. Average. So you just go and look at that neighborhood, find out what the average sales price. What's the, how many days on market are homes staying? How many homes sold in that neighborhood in the last 2, 3, 4, whatever months? And that card is editable. So you can literally make these cards out specific to neighborhoods. This to me is kind of an infographic because it's giving them information about their neighborhood. And again, I'm not going to show you all of them, but inside your Mailbox Power, there are multiple cards like this that allow you to put infographic type data in there that's relevant to that neighborhood.
And let me see. I'm not actually seeing the infographic that I saw right now. I'm not able to Google it and find it. I believe it was through Keeping Current Matters, though. So
okay, I have access to that.
The next time I see it, though, I'll send it to you, Angela.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Alec, you've got a question for us.
Hey, Bryan, how are you?
Doing pretty well yourself.
Good. My question was, if you haven't run a direct mail campaign yet, would this be the one that you'd start out with?
I would say that it boils down to who you're targeting and who you want to go after. In this market, it's extremely important to always have a good number of buyers that are actively looking to purchase. But what I would say is most important right now is actually having those listings, because that's what's going to help move the needle with your commissions going forward. So if you were to start doing direct mail, I would actually say, if this is your very first direct mail campaign and you want to win listings, I would target for sale by owners. I would target expireds and withdrawals, because that's going to be your lowest hanging fruit. We already have the high intent. Somebody has said, hey, I want to sell my house, whether they want to do it on their own or whether their listing recently expired and because they were way overpriced or whatever the reason was. Those are going to be your easiest people to go after. And that's what I'd recommend if it's your first mailer and you want to win listings. Personally.
Okay. Awesome. And then I need My Plus Leads if I were to do that.
So for the FSBOs, the cancels, the withdrawals, yes, you would want My Plus Leads or an equivalent. Something that a lot of agents actually do is just go on Zillow, find FSBOs, and call them directly through Zillow. But if you want to send the direct mail out, the easiest way is to have that data coming in from My Plus Leads. If you're logged into Leads to ROI, there is going to be a section on there for My Plus Leads over on the left-hand bar. And there's a couple of different options that you can sign up for with My Plus Leads. I believe their least expensive package is $26. And that puts you directly in front of the FSBOs. So their intro pricing, $26 or $23, something along those lines, is specifically for the for sale by owners.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Brian, here's one of those things you were talking about earlier about the infographic. This is from Keeping Current Matters. This is one of 50 I have access to, and it's branded to me. But here's an infographic, and you can literally take this and translate that. I can actually take this and with a little bit of work, put that inside of a 5x7 card. I could do top, bottom, and back of the card. Maybe eliminate this stuff here, but this could be the bottom and this could be the top. Just simply copy, paste it into Canva, and now I've got an infographic I can send on my card literally for free. Just not for free, but for the fact that I've got access to 40 or 50 of these at any given moment. But that is an infographic that you can get directly inside of. I think Angela was asking about that inside of Keeping Current Matters.
Okay, yeah, I'll look there.
Okay.
I'll check lab coat because lab coat agents usually has, and they've got 140,000 agents that are in the group. So that may have been one of the spots that I saw it as well. No, that's the referral group. Here we go. Just look.
One more thing, Brian, while you're doing that. Guys, just quickly, again, we're talking about how you can utilize something like this inside of one of your cards. Here's an infographic that I can download and upload to my Mailbox Power. And look at this for an inside page on a 5x7 card. The difference in how loans affect you with the different interest rates that might hike. So from 3.5 to 3.8, it's telling you what the difference in monthly payment would be. So again, that is something that you could do on your renter cards and they've got, oh my goodness, they've got tons of these things, guys, for different price points, right? Look at this one. Q1, $600,000 mortgage, interest rate, payment. Mortgage, 637,800, 3.8%. It's basically what it's showing you is that's a great card right there. And I could actually take that. And so some of you are like, oh, how am I going to design these cards? I would grab this, throw it in Canva, resize it, and that would go on that would go on the inside top or inside bottom of the card, probably the bottom. And I would have a message saying, look below, and this is what can happen if you wait in this economy to purchase a home. It could cost you hundreds of dollars a month. That is a great infographic you can put on a card.
Awesome.
Anyway,
awesome.
Done with that.
Cool.
Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, so I think that'll just about wrap it up for today. You guys,
hey,
please
Brian.
tune in on Thursday. We're gonna walk you guys through the very next steps since we've got the pixel installed. We're gonna then walk you guys through building out a Facebook ad. I'm actually gonna take the time to pull the pixel, install it on the website, and then do the whole ad walkthrough for you guys. So you'll see everything A to Z on how to build this out and how to go ahead and target that list. So I look forward to seeing
Brian,
everybody
I think we have a
on
question.
Thursday. Oh,
Yeah. I'm sorry, Brian, it's Angela again. Just one quick follow-up question to what Alec asked. Do you consider absentee owners as low-hanging fruit?
Yes and no. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball. We don't have a way to predict whether or not that absentee homeowner wants to sell their property or not.
Gotcha.
Right. I would say 6 months ago or the beginning of the pandemic, yes, may have been some low-hanging fruit because there were all of those rent moratoriums that were put in place. And I just heard a ton of horror stories about folks that lost out on all of that rental income and actually had to sell some of their properties to stay afloat. But it's one of those things that it really just, it's a 50-50 shot. You never know if somebody wants to sell their house or not.
Okay. All right.
It's
Thank
still
you.
a great list to target.
Yes.
You all
Okay.
tell me what time on Thursday you're doing this?
1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, we do them every Tuesday and Thursday, 1 o'clock PST, and they're free for anyone to join.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Brian, was last week about the pixel? Is that what to rewatch that for from last Thursday?
No, so this next Thursday, I'm going to dive into, I'm actually going to show how to install the pixel on the site and then walk you through the full Facebook ad. But I just wanted to showcase what you're going to do to kind of get everybody excited about the next training, but show you guys what you're going to do once you have folks get that direct mail and they go to your website. how we're then going to transition to targeting them on Facebook.
Okay, thanks.
Is there a place to look at your past classes?
Yeah, so on YouTube, we Leads to ROI YouTube channel is where we have all of our live trainings. They populate on there. YouTube actually removed last week's training automatically. Kelly made a little joke and they didn't like it. I'm not going to repeat it now, but he made a little joke and they didn't like it, so they pulled the video down. It wasn't even anything it wasn't even bad. But Facebook and YouTube are sensitive about things that we say, so we just got to mind our P's and Q's.
If
Leads
you
to
would like,
ROI though, you can get all of them.
you can join our Leads to ROI Facebook group.
Yeah,
And you see a bunch of content there, and also our YouTube channel is just called Leads to ROI. So you can feel free to subscribe there.
and then you guys, if you're part of the Leads to ROI platform, there is just a tab on the left side of Leads to ROI. I'm just going to share my screen to show you guys. There's a tab on the left side of Leads to ROI for weekly trainings. And so we've got a copy of every video that we've done since July of last year. And this is 2 a week, every week consistently. So tons of trainings to go through from either YouTube, the Leads to ROI courses in Be Known University, the Leads to ROI Facebook group, or just going ahead and signing up and joining our platform. So thanks, you guys. I look forward to seeing everybody Thursday and teaching you guys how to build these Facebook ads from A to Z.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.